Imagine the silence of the high seas shattered by the rhythmic thumping of rotors. Remember, this is all in our imagination. The video is for discussion only. China's new rules are real. The US Navy is positioned in the Northern Arabian Sea, intentionally out of the range of most Iranian coastal batteries, specifically targeting ships that have paid transit tolls to Iran. The morning sun glints off the gray hull of a US Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. A few miles away, a Chinese VLCC, very large crude carrier, the Pacific Dragon, sits in the water. It's carrying 2 million barrels of crude, destined for a refinery in China. A US commando team rappels onto the deck of the Chinese supertanker. Their mission? To enforce a unilateral sanction, an extraterritorial law written in Washington, that is thousands of miles away. A US boarding team is currently on the deck. The tension isn't just military, it's legal and systemic. In the past, this was a diplomatic nightmare. But as of April 13, 2026, it is something much more dangerous. It's a violation of a new Chinese decree. Premier Li Qiang just signed 20 articles of law that change the rules of maritime engagement. China isn't just protesting anymore, they've built a legal wall. What would be the first action of the Chinese tanker's captain? Under the new rules, the captain is no longer just a merchant sailor, he is a frontline legal combatant. He will refuse to provide the manifest or sign any seizure papers. Under Article 10, he is legally prohibited from complying with unjustified foreign jurisdiction. To cooperate is to face prosecution upon his return to China. A ship's flag is not merely a symbol. Under international maritime law, a vessel flying the Chinese flag is considered Chinese sovereign territory. Unauthorized boarding by a foreign military is a direct violation of that sovereignty. The captain will trigger a legal interference report to the newly established working mechanism in Beijing. This move officially activates the Chinese state's protective measures. The crew will record every interaction with US Commandos. Under the new rules, this footage serves as evidence for litigation against the individuals and the US government in Chinese courts. Beijing will not start by firing missiles. They will start by firing economic and legal volleys that target the US's long-arm infrastructure. Within hours, the Ministry of Commerce will place the shipping companies involved in the US logistics chain, and potentially the specific US Navy commanders, on the malicious entity list. Any US firm providing fuel, insurance, or maintenance to the Navy ships involved in this blockade would find their assets in China frozen and their contracts cancelled. China will encourage the ship's owner to file a lawsuit in a Shanghai maritime court. They won't just sue the US Navy. They will sue any person and related entity. But can China's military do anything? China's PLA Navy is far away. So, what can it do? The PLA Navy Task Group in the Gulf of Aden would likely be the first to respond. Its initial actions would be to shadow and monitor the US vessels and attempt to locate the seized tanker. Chinese nuclear-powered attack submarines or other intelligence-gathering assets patrolling the Indian Ocean are keeping an eye on US ships and Chinese tankers. Beijing would file an urgent protest with the UN Security Council and all relevant international maritime bodies, citing the violation of a Chinese-flagged vessel as sovereign territory. China's new regulations would provide the legal basis for this, aiming to isolate the US diplomatically. China would likely move electronic warfare and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as satellites, to monitor the entire situation, gather intelligence, and potentially jam communications. If TACO doesn't happen by now, the PLA Air Force may send its the H-6N bomber, capable of launching long-range cruise missiles, for example, the CJ-10. As a show of force, a Chinese carrier strike group begins to sail to the Persian Gulf. But it would take weeks. China's involvement triggers a global market crash. That is enough for another TACO action. He says, "We have won." What a mess. This video is for discussion. Nothing here is true except that the blockade is real and China's new rules are real. Thank you for engaging for a better world.